Closer to Purim, that's for sure. On page Mem Daled. 2 lines from the top of the page. What did we learn yesterday? The Rebbe is explaining that in this entire Maamar, that there are 3 aspects to mitzvahs, 3 aspects to Torah. There's the Elyon, there's the Tachton, and then there's what's higher than the Elyon and Tachton and combines both together. And over here, the Rebbe is focusing on the 3 different aspects of Limud Torah. There's the chiyuv that a person learns Torah in order to know the mitzvahs to fulfill. Leida as hamaisa sheyason. So the whole purpose of the learning the Torah is just in order to give him the instructions for his body, how to fulfill the mitzvahs. Then there's a mitzvah of yidiyas HaTorah. That includes kol HaTorah kula. Whether it's something which is negei l'maisa, whether it's not negei l'maisa, knowing the kol HaTorah kula is a mitzvah and it is part of the chiyuv of limud Torah. That the Rebbe says is limud Torah b'shvil ha-neshama. There's no practical application. The guf is not going to fulfill anything, but the neshama, that the person has to know all of Torah. That's the second level. Let's continue inside. Second line from the top, on page Mem Dalet. V'yesh laymar. Based on what we're saying, we could say, shezeu hatam al zeh. This is the reason for the fact sheyashir v'kitzvel ha-mitzvah d'yidiyas ha-Torah. The mitzvah of knowing all of Torah has a certain limit. There's a maximum of what you have to know, and once you know all of that information of Torah, you have fulfilled the mitzvah of Yidiyas HaTorah. There's a limitation to it. Thank you. This that it says regarding Torah, that Torah is longer, is broader, it's greater than the measurement of the land. What the pasuk is implying is that there's no end to the depth of understanding the halachas. Aval halachas atzmam, page Mem Daled, right there, the next page. But the actual halachas themselves, v'cheina medrashim chulu, and also all the medrashim that a person should learn and know as part of Torah, yeshlam keitzim mispar. There is a specific amount of what a person has to learn and know, which Alter Rebbe explains in Shulchan Aruch. V'hayu kama v'kama shalomdu v'yada kol HaTorah kula. And there are those that achieve this purpose, that are able to learn kol HaTorah kula. There's a Gemara in Menachos which describes an individual that asks a question that I learned kol HaTorah kula. May I go now and occupy myself with other things? That's a question he asked. So the Gemara itself talks about a case of a person that learned kol HaTorah kula, and certainly the Tanaim and Amiraim learned kol HaTorah kula, and of all the generations there were people that learned kol HaTorah kula. And I mentioned yesterday that the shir of Limud Rambam that the Rebbe instituted was for this purpose, to give all of Klal Yisrael the opportunity to learn kol HaTorah kula, even if you can't go through all the Gemaras and all the Midrashim and everything else. But every person, if you learn Rambam, it includes Bekitzer all the halachas of kol HaTorah kula. Even if you don't have all of the depth of the halacha, you don't have all of the details and the reasons, but still, the actual yidiyah of kol HaTorah kula has a very, very specific outline of what it includes. What's the reason for this? What's the essence of this mitzvah? That the person, he should have his knowledge, he should know all of Torah. A person naturally, of course, is limited. So therefore, also the Torah that is related over here to this mitzvah, that a person has to know. You can't give a person a mitzvah which is unlimited. If the mitzvah is that he should know kol HaTorah kula, that has to be something which is limited, that a person's knowledge can reach. That's the second aspect of learning Torah. Third aspect of learning Torah, then there's the obligation that's based on the pasuk that says that a person has to study Torah day and night. V'hagisa. Study Torah day and night. It's not about accumulating knowledge. It's not about going through all the material. To occupy your time to study Torah day and night. It's a separate aspect of the chiyuv of limud Torah. One is about learning and gaining the knowledge, and the other is the actual occupation, that you're spending your time, that you're sitting and learning. The Rebbe in Orah 70 brings from the Alter Rebbe that explains that these are 2 separate chiyuvim. The mitzvahs yidiyas HaTorah. the mitzvah of knowledge, to know all of Torah, u'mitzvahs v'hagisa bai hem shnei inyanim, and the mitzvah to harava and sit and learn Torah are two separate inyanim. V'hagisa b'yayim and v'layla, as the pasuk indicates, has no limitation. There's never an end to it. Whenever a person has time, he has to make it his business to learn Torah. Whether he knows kol Torah kula already, whether he doesn't, shkanaf gemina. Back into the Maamar. Gam la'achrei shalamat kol Torah kula, even after the person completed learning all the Torah. And the same is also, of course, b'negei le'ela shadaitam k'tzara, that their knowledge has a way to go. And therefore they may say to themselves, I'm anyways not going to reach to the finish line. I'm anyways not going to manage to learn all the Shas, all the Yerushalmi, all the Midrashim, and everything that's required for the basic minimum to learn Kol HaTorah Kula. So why should I start? It's a project that I can't complete. So the answer is, it's not about, that's one aspect of the mitzvah, to complete knowing all the Torah. But there's another aspect of the mitzvah, sitting and learning Torah. That in itself, without any objective, with not trying to get to any finish line, sitting and learning Torah in itself is a mitzvah. So this is the highest aspect of learning Torah, where a person is learning Torah for the sake of the Torah itself. Not because anything that the person will gain, the knowledge that he'll gain, the practical application that he'll be able to apply what he knows of Torah for the mitzvahs he has to fulfill, just for the sake of learning Torah. So now the Torah itself, the Chachma of the Torah is above any limitation, as we brought before the pasuk. You can study Torah, you can study the same sugya for months and months and maybe even years. The depth of Torah is endless. Any individual inyan that you learn in Torah has a wealth of knowledge in it that you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's the Eibish's Chachma, which is Bli Gvul. So l'chein, therefore, gam mitzvah, the Talmud Torah, the mitzvah of learning Torah, k'mayshim mitzvah Torah atzma, the essence of the mitzvah, as it is from the perspective of the Torah itself, not utilizing or getting from the Torah any gain that the person will have through learning, but just the learning of Torah itself. Yasik ba tamid yoymam v'layla, to learn Torah day and night, b'chol rega pani, whenever he has a free moment. B'chol rega pani, for every person obviously, means different. For one person, b'chol rega pani could be 10 hours a day, and another person, rega pani means 5 minutes a day. But it's the same in the essence of what they're doing. Whenever he has a free moment, the person learns Torah. In that sense, this is something that has absolutely no limitation to it whatsoever. Take a look in Order 72. Alter Rebbe in Hilchas Talmud Torah says, there are various different ways how to fulfill this mitzvah of V'agisa, to learn Torah all the time. V'ad, to the point where the Alter Rebbe says that on the bottom end of the spectrum, the most minimum of the application of V'agisa would be Shebishas hadchak kiyem mitzvahs V'agisa de Kriya Shema Shachris V'arves. B'shas hadchak, you fulfill that obligation just by saying Kriya Shema morning and night, which is a mitzvah for itself to say Kriya Shema. By saying Kriya Shema, though, you're reading Psukim of Torah. So if you daven Shachris, you daven Ma'ariv, and you said Kriya Shema in Shachris and in Ma'ariv, you said Psukim of Torah, and you had Limud Torah for that day. So that's a person of B'shas Hadchak that immediately after davening has to rush out to work or rush out on a way, and he has absolutely no opportunity to learn Torah otherwise during the day. I don't think that in 99% of situations this is the fact for people. Most people have time somewhere in the middle of the day. They can stop from what they're doing and to learn Torah. But b'shas hadchak, that it's impossible, a Yid learns Torah included in the mitzvah of Kriya Shema. Harei, so there are many differences that we see in V'hagisa. So the Rebbe is saying that V'hagisa means Bli Gvul, to learn Torah endless, day and night. But V'hagisa also has certain criteria of how much I'm obligated to do for the fulfillment of V'hagisa. So the Rebbe explains, all these levels that the Alter Rebbe there says is a person that's preoccupied with his parnasa. So al pi Torah, he has an obligation to provide parnasa for him, for his family. So he's able to step away from his learning. But regarding any free time a person has, Ha-mitzvah v'hagisa hi b'chol rega. This mitzvah v'hagisa is upon you every moment. It never leaves the person. That's what's unique about the mitzvah of Limud HaTorah that's different than any other mitzvah. Every other mitzvah, it's one action. You fulfill the action of the mitzvah, and then you're done with that mitzvah. Limud HaTorah, as soon as you have a free moment, the mitzvah of Hagisa is upon you again. This is the famous Taisvis in Brachas Daf Yud Aleph. We learned it when we learned the Gemara, where he says that by the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, you make one bracha in the beginning of the day, and then even if you leave shul, you leave the shir, and you come back hours and hours later, you don't make a new bracha again, even though you made a long interruption between the bracha and the Limud HaTorah that you learn again at another time. What's the reason? And the Taisus asks the question further. By Sukkah, which is also a mitzvah that you could fulfill a second time, you don't find this. You leave the Sukkah, you come back an hour or two later, Lashon of the Alter Rebbe, Shulchan Aruch, you come back an hour or two later, got to make a second bracha. What's the difference? Because by the mitzvah of Sukkah, you leave the Sukkah, the mitzvah is done. There's nothing obligating you to come back. If you happen to decide to come back, fine, so it's a brand new mitzvah that you have to make a new bracha. By the mitzvah of Limud HaTorah, when you step away from learning, you have the heter, and you're obligated actually to go work, and therefore you're stepping away from learning Torah. But the moment you finish doing what you have to, you come back automatically to the original place where a Yid belongs, which is a rega ponik to learn Torah. So therefore there's one bracha for the entire day. Yeah. Okay, let's continue weiter. Next ice, back into the Maamar itself.
If you don't come back immediately?
Most people don't come back immediately. A person has a shir in Torah.
Then there's a Hesach Hadas there, no?
The Hesach Hadas, that's the Lashon of Taisvis. He says a Yid is never Masiach Das from Limud HaTorah, because he always knows if and when I'll have a free moment, I'm planning on coming back. Hesach Hadas is, for example, a person planned on not coming back and then Nimlach, and then he changes his mind. Or a person goes out of the Sukkah and he doesn't know when he's coming. He's not thinking I'm coming back. Then later, when he's done with the things, then he decides to come back. But he's not leaving l'chatchila having in mind that I'm leaving temporarily. A Yid that knows that Kol Rega Pani is coming back, he's l'chatchila never Mashiach Das of the Torah. So it goes even deeper. That's exactly.
I think it's also the fact that even when you're doing other things, you're subconsciously, the Torah is working there.
The Torah, the effect of the Torah, the influence of the Torah that you learned before. Okay, that's definitely true.
You're processing it. Sometimes there was a mathematician who worked 2 hours in the day, 2 hours in the night, and he didn't work the rest because he let his subconscious work on the problems. He had problems. He had big problems. And he let the subconscious work.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. But I'm not sure if al pi nigla you could say such a geda. In other words, you can theoretically say the same thing, although it's not in the same way. But theoretically, you could say the same thing regarding tefillin. That from the tefillin you put on today to the tefillin that you put on tomorrow, there's the spiritual effect that's working inside of you, and then it connects to the next day of tefillin. Over here, it's the effect in the brain. So maybe it's a little bit more. I understand what you're saying. But al pi nigla, I'm not sure if there's such a kind of a geda, such a kind of thing. But the actual, maybe subconsciously, a person knows I'm a Yid and therefore I always come back to Torah. It changes if a person understands and realizes what this is about. It should change a person's attitude regarding Limud HaTorah. A Yid always belongs in the place where he learns Torah. Temporarily we go away to do other things. The moment you have a Rega Ponui, you're back to the natural place where a Yid belongs. Sif Ches, let's continue inside.
Just go over the flow
of the Maamar.
A lot of different things that
The Maamar is all based on one theme, beginning with the Gzeira that there was before Matan Torah, that the Elyonim and Tachtainim are separated, and then at the time of Matan Torah, the Eibusha took away that decree and brought the ability to join together the Elyonim and Tachtainim. And the Rebbe points out that in the actual fulfillment of mitzvahs, in the essence of mitzvahs themselves, Torah itself, and the limud of Torah, there are the three aspects of the Elyon, the Tachtain, and then what's above both of them. A person could learn or do a mitzvah based on his guf or his nefesh bahamis, and the Rebbe explained it barichas. You could do a mitzvah or learn Torah based on your neshama, and then you can be completely bottled beyond Elyon, beyond Tachtain, and do it just for the sake of the mitzvah itself, the sake of Torah itself, where you're connected to the essence of Hashem Himself. That's the whole theme of the Maamar here. Yeah, sagt der Rebbe weiter, wie Shloima by Mikyos, we can take this a step deeper. So here the Rebbe concluded the previous ice with V'hagisa by Yaimam V'layla. The obligation of a Yid to learn Torah day and night, non-stop, as long as he has the ability. So Shagam, a mitzvah, Vagisa Bayayim Valaylam, even this mitzvah of learning Torah day and night, Kivin Sham mitzvahs, Hem Tzivuyim Laha Adam, all mitzvahs are a command to a human being. And not like Torah itself, the actual wisdom of the Torah itself is above having any connection to any human being. The Eibishter takes his wisdom, his own understanding and his own wisdom and shares it with us. That's Torah. Mitzvahs is all about a command. It's lachatchila, what the Eibishter is instructions, how we should conduct ourselves in this world. That's the basic difference between Torah and mitzvahs. Even though learning Torah is one of the 613 mitzvahs, but Chassidus and in Halacha, we always divide Limud Torah separate from Kiyam HaMitzvahs. So, Harei HaTorah Shalom Dem Mitzad VaHaMitzvah Dvar Gisa B'Yayim V'Laylam. The Torah that a person learns in order to fulfill the mitzvah of V'Hagisa B'Y, to learn Torah day and night, to study Torah day and night. Even this level, which requires a person to learn at any free moment, is still not the essence of the Torah itself, because it's part of the mitzvah. This is still the level of Torah as it relates to a person. If this is part of the mitzvah of Limud Torah, so by definition, it's not the essence of Torah, it's not the essence of the Eibishter's Chachma itself. It's that mitzvah that the Eibishter says to us that we should learn Torah day and night. So even the Hagisa is not the essence of the Torah. What's the deeper inyan? What's really a level where the person is learning the Torah just for the sake of Torah? He's connecting to the Torah, completely leaving his Metzias and connecting to the Eibishter's Torah, not as through the method of a mitzvah. The Torah, which is completely removed of the person, when a person learns Torah completely lishma, for the sake of Torah. The person is learning not only in order to fulfill the actual mitzvah that the Eibishter commanded us, he's learning the Torah for the sake of Torah itself, a completely different inyan. Anytime you're doing something for the sake of a mitzvah, even if you're only doing it because the Eibishter commanded, and I'm not thinking about myself, I'm not thinking what I could gain, not begashmias, not beruchnias, but the very fact that the fulfillment is a fulfillment of a mitzvah, by definition means that this is a relationship between you and Hashem that's premised on the fact that the Eibishter is relating to you. That the Eibishter says, you're important, you exist, and I'm going to give you a mitzvah and instruction what you should do. The premise of every mitzvah is that you're the person that is the focus, that the Eibishter wants to command you what to do. So even if you're learning the Torah completely bleakvol and you're doing it just to fulfill the Ratzna Elyon, you're doing it to learn Torah every free moment. But if it's premised on a mitzvah, the idea of a mitzvah is that there's a commander and that there's somebody that the commander is thinking of to command. So your mitzias is teifas makim. It's all about you that is being commanded and fulfilling that command. Then there's learning Torah mitzad atzma. I haven't been commanded. I'm not learning the Torah to fulfill my chiyuv, to be yaitza, to do it what the Eibishter wants from me. I'm learning Torah because the Torah has the essence of the Eibishter in it, and that's where I am. That's where a Yid naturally is. A Yid l'shma, me and the Torah is one, because the neshama of the Yid and the Torah are one. You don't need a mitzvah for that. Adarabah, the person leaves his mitzias and says, I want to be there in the Torah. That's my place where to be. Totally different thing. Another point to add to this. The advantage of a person learning Torah l'shma in contrast to a person that learns Torah because he wants to fulfill his mitzvah of learning Torah, it's not just a difference as far as what is the person thinking about, what is his motivation, what is his attitude. Is his attitude that I have a mitzvah and therefore I learn Torah? Or is his attitude that I'm doing it for the sake of Torah itself? The Torah is the Eibishter and that's where I am, without the mitzvah. It's not just a difference in kavanah. It'll actually also have an impact on the experience of the learning itself. What's the difference? You're learning Torah, ma'inaf gemina, if you're learning with this kavanah, with that kavanah, the actual learning itself is learning. So the Rebbe explains. When a person learns Torah, and he's doing it to fulfill a mitzvah, halimud hu bagbala. It's behechrich, the limud has to have some limitation to it. And the Rebbe adds the different, or the Rebbe adds different than what he says before. The gam b'mitzvahs v'agisa b'yayim v'loyla. Even when a person learns Torah, and his learning Torah is day and night, yesh kama v'kama akbalas. In the end of the day, a human being is limited, and therefore the requirement of a hagisa bay in the framework of a mitzvah, which is given to a human being, it's about focusing on you to do this mitzvah, it has limitations. As we learned before, quoted in the Ha'ara, we're going to get to Baal Esek, Parnasa, Vagisa B'yayim V'layla requires when you have a regaponi, when you have a free moment. A free moment is limited. Every person has a different requirement of how to apply that free moment to his personal life. Which is not the case when a person is learning Torah for the sake of learning Torah itself. Because his attitude is that he is in Torah, he's part of Torah. A Yid is connected to Torah without the mitzvah in it. That's in essence, he's learning Torah for the sake of Torah itself. Here the person is not even thinking about any limitations at all. The person is not going to think, do I have a free moment? Do I not have a free moment? Am I obligated to learn in this situation? Am I not obligated to learn in this situation? If a person is learning something just for the sake of Torah itself, what will happen is he'll go overtime. All of a sudden he'll find himself, I missed a meeting because I was learning Torah. Could be it wasn't even a regaponi. Could be it was a moment that he had to go somewhere. But he's so connected to the Torah that he'll be there in the Torah without thinking where he has to go and what he has to do and whether I have a regaponi or not. The person learns Torah and can lose track of time. And actually the learning of Torah will even be above the limitations of space as well. There are certain places you're not allowed to learn Torah. We learned about this Barichas in the Sugya in Brachas, where it talks about all the Muvois, Hamatunafim, all those places that are unclean, and you're not allowed to say words of Torah. Right? So the Gemara says a statement, K'mayim Razal, the Gemara says, Lo oin shani. You're not allowed to, but in a case where it's an oinus, it's a story over there. When I get to a certain Ameira, I forgot the name right now, but he was learning Torah, he was so immersed in Torah that he found himself thinking words of Torah in a place, in a bathroom, in a place where a person shouldn't be thinking Torah. The Gemara says, it's not that he was actively thinking. If a person is consciously thinking words of Torah in a place that it's not permitted, so then you're not allowed to. You have to stop yourself. You have to occupy yourself with something else. But if the Torah becomes so part of your essence and you're subconsciously thinking the words of Torah, you didn't consciously think about it. It's like an oinus. It's part of who you are. You're part of the essence of Torah. So there's no limitations. You find yourself thinking of words of Torah even in a place where you're not supposed to. That's an oinus. So that's something which is different. That's a completely different level of learning Torah. La'in Seishani. Let's see the Ha'ara. Let's see what it says in Ha'ara 73. Very interesting. Rei Baruch 73. Rei Baruch l'kotesiches chelik beis. And then Lahar Mekuntris Achron Sham. Going back to the Kuntris Achron that the Rebbe is quoting over here, the source of this whole Inyan where the Alter Rebbe discusses the learning of Torah. B'pirish Maimer Azal, the meaning of what it says in the Mishnah, Kach hi darka shel Torah. This is the way of Torah. Chaye tzar tichya, a person learns Torah, and even when he's living a life where he doesn't have what he needs, he's lacking, he's living in painful situations, and he doesn't have what he needs, he continues learning Torah. Shein zechiyuv, the Alter Rebbe says, the Mishnah is not saying that that's an obligation. A person doesn't have an obligation to have himself go through painful situations and learn Torah through that pain. That's not the obligation of Limud Torah. Yid is not mechuyev to have any tsar whatsoever for learning Torah. Ella, all the Mishnah is saying is shezu darka shel Torah dafka. It's the derech of Torah. It'll happen automatically. If you're so dedicated to learning Torah, you'll find yourself learning even in the most painful of situations because you're so connected, you're so one with the Torah. The l'chayre yashleima kavana. So the Rebbe says we can say what the meaning of this is. L'chayre, we can say the pshat ad Alter Rebbe. The inyan zeh eni mitzad mitzvahs talmud Torah. This is not based on the obligation of the mitzvah that you have. As far as the mitzvah is concerned, there's no mitzvah for a person to learn to the point that he's even going through pain and continue learning. Eladarka shel Torah. This is the nature of Torah itself. If you connect to the essence of Torah, beyond the level of a mitzvah, you're one with the Torah itself. So over there, a person will just automatically find himself learning Torah even when he's in painful situations. That's what it would seem the pshat over there is. But then the Rebbe concludes though, Al V'reisham Perek Gimel, Halacha Gimel B'tchilasa. But if you look in the Lashon Hadal, the Rebbe says in another place, he says, Misha Nesoy Libo L'Kayim Mitzvah Zukarai. Person that his heart carries him and he elevates him to fulfill the mitzvah properly, Chai Yitzar Tichya. And the Alter Rebbe says the Lashon of Chai Yitzar Tichya. Which implies that even as far as the mitzvah is concerned, you have to be so dedicated to the mitzvah to the point that even Chai Yitzar, a person has to learn Torah. And it's brought in Hilchos Talmud Torah that a person is mechuyev to learn Torah under all circumstances. Whether he's healthy, even if he's not well, whether he's old, whether he's young, he's frail, he's weak, and he can't learn Torah. But if you can't learn Torah on a higher level, you can learn Torah on a more basic level. If you can't learn Gemara, you can learn Mishnayos. If you can't learn Mishnayos, you can learn Chumash. If you can't learn Chumash, you can learn it with an English translation. Every person has an ability to learn Torah, and a person is not allowed to say to himself, I can't, I'm exempt. Every person has the ability to learn Torah on one level or another, or even to listen to a shir today, you can listen to an audio or video or something where a person could learn Torah. That's what's a chiyuv that applies to everybody in all situations.
On the other hand, if you can learn on a higher level and on a lower level, that's also...
Correct. The famous Gemara that says, Mevatlin Talmud Torah l'mikra Megillah. Why is it bittul Torah? Because Mikra Megillah, you're just reading the words. You're obligated to hear the words. When you learn Torah, you're learning more bi'iyun, and that's called bittul Torah, because there's a very small percent of concentration in your brain when you just hear words. When you learn and understand, there's a much bigger part of the person that's included. So there's a bittul Torah as far as the percent of the person involved in the actual limud Torah.
By the way, the concept of Chai Yitzar Tichya is not that you, it's not like the Zimuk Shatz is that this is a lifestyle. More much my head that even if you have a Chai Yitzar, you're supposed to learn, but that's not the simple Shatz.
Pas b'melach teichel, mayim b'msura tishta, v'alaretz tishan. Our lifestyle is we're not looking for luxuries, we're not looking for extras. We live a basic lifestyle and we're happy with that, and we learn Torah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, l'chayda, you're right.
This thing of the Torah Lishma is connected with Nosan Torah, not the Shema.
Absolutely. Sure. Yes, absolutely.
That's not the kesher, it's not the relative. This actually connects to the Rambam says the Eitz Hadas was that Eitz Hadas is something relevant. It's Tov Ra. The mistake the Rambam says was like the absolute best, the absolute highest thing is evidence. Tov Ra is only relative. It's good for me, or it's good for
When you come to the essence of God, the essence of truth.